The little girl was covered in nails. She can become human once she pulls out all the nails. But she will die immediately if she doesn't pull them out. But every time she pulls out a nail, she will turn into a ghost. Just when she thought she would have to live with the curse for the rest of her life. But the man directly pulled out the nail. So, it turns out the man is mentally ill. He sought medical treatment for 2.5 years, but did not show any improvement. However, his brain was different from ordinary people, and he was chosen by a strand of divine spirit to be its vessel. Although it could not directly heal his brain, under the condition of mutual dependency, this strand of divine spirit would always lend a hand at critical moments. After all, in this era of spectral energy resurgence, even simply turning on a light to have dinner at night is enough to make people fearful. No one knows who might come knocking on your door at night. It could be a poor, lost little girl after all. Or perhaps it's a sinister and malicious spirit specifically targeting you. So on the first night, they met each other. The divine spirit helped him to display extraordinary fighting power. This directly caught the attention of the authorities. The exorcism police department had actually detected the eerie occurrences a long time ago. But they never expected that there was such a powerful wild monk here. In the ward, Liam was still in a seizure moment. A melodious song interrupted their movements. Divine Spirit immediately sensed the approach of something filthy. However, the two patients innocently thought that someone was singing in the middle of the night. They climbed up to the window one after another, wanting to find out what was going on. Should I say that the newly arrived little girl looks quite unique? Just that singing in the middle of the night is too disturbing. But only the Divine Spirit knows. This is the second stage vengeful spirit. When Subby leaves the house, it is to find food. And her target is the two clueless youths inside the house. Seeing the female drought demon starting to squat and gather strength, Divine Spirit, realizing the danger, immediately called for Liam to dodge. As expected, the tightly locked door proved to be nothing but an illusion. The female drought demon charged forward in a single swift leap. She then landed firmly on his bed, symbolizing the black water that drowned spirit still dripping incessantly. However, this made Liam's eyes widen in anger, because tomorrow is his duty day. How can one clean up a bed full of black water that she made? He said that as he directly picked up the slippers on the floor. He didn't say a word and just started hitting her aggressively. In the end, he even kicked her out of the door directly. He doesn't care if the girl is new here or not. You have to know the rules once you are here. Don't randomly cause trouble for others. I don't know if this guy is not happy. While trembling and unsteadily standing up, the black water drops even harder. The result was another round of beating that followed. She was completely confused. She didn't understand what was going on at all. She only felt that these eyes full of majesty were somewhat frightening. Equally confused were the exorcist police in the monitoring room, who now didn't need to take action. The vengeful spirit was actually subdued with just a slipper. Chief Willie was particularly excited and even shed tears. He never expected to encounter a wild monk in his lifetime. Now he could hope for great achievements ahead. The next morning, Chief led a team to search for this talented individual. At this time, Liam in the hospital room was still sleeping soundly. The end of the bed was hanging with dried clothes, the result of female drought demon's hard work all night. Not only can he subdue evil spirits, but he can also control them. This has increased Chief's appreciation for him. However, in the eyes of the hospital director, he remains a severely ill patient. Judging by his current appearance, he probably doesn't even know what happened last night, encountering the female drought demon. Two police officers were left confused. They even started suspecting if Liam might have a split personality or something similar. Yet, before Yo-Yo could inquire further, Liam looked directly at her chest. It turns out that the divine spirit noticed that the girl's aura was unstable, especially with something extra around her chest area. This is probably breast cancer caused by long-term exposure to an energy. But Liam doesn't know so much. After going through his brain, he only knows that someone has two little balls in front of his chest. He still shouts loudly that he must see them. As a result, the dean had to grab him back with one hand. At the same time, he had to explain and apologize to the two police officers. Liam's condition was there for everyone to see. Chief instantly deflated like a balloon. He watched as the duck that was almost in his mouth flew away. However, Willie was not discouraged. He kept asking the dean about Liam's special traits. But the thing is, there are no ordinary people here either. If you have to say, he always shouts that he's an alien. He also often holds a slipper, wanting to contact the headquarters. But this is also because of the movie about aliens that was shown in the hospital last month. Yo-Yo has already given up during lunchtime. Chief still wants to persist. After all, Liam's abilities are real. If they have to leave, they must take him with them. At the same time, Divine Spirit also seemed to have understood. This guy is really insane. But before treating him, let's save his life first. Because the female drought demon who failed to hunt tonight will definitely come back. And the Xidagarba exorcism talisman is the most effective tool. It's just that its sudden appearance startled Liam. He was so angry that he crumpled it up and threw it away. He happened to throw it into Chief's soup. Another reason they couldn't leave here is that they knew the female drought demon would definitely come back tonight. So, out of a sense of responsibility to protect the citizens, they had to stay. Night falls. The female drought demon in red clothing did arrive as scheduled. Fortunately, the prearranged sunlight formation worked as intended. Watching as the female drought demon is about to be burned to ashes. I didn't expect that this time she actually got an extra helper. Moreover, the helper is the second stage male drought demon, who has consistently ranked in the top 10 on the ghost list. A mass of unknown filth spewed out. It instantly engulfed the searchlight on the rooftop. Countless lights went out in response. The surroundings plunged into darkness once again. The female drought demon finally got a chance to catch her breath. And she, together with the male drought demon, went up to the second floor. Watching as the daylight formation could not stop them at all. Chief Willie is completely panicked now. Originally, Chief Willie wanted to give Liam a small credit and then take the opportunity to invite him to join the police station. But now, he just hopes that Liam will be safe and sound. Liam sat cross-legged in the hospital ward, his eyes full of determination. He didn't look like a sick person at all. However, when the overwhelming spectral energy broke in, when two vengeful spirits stared at him so intently, he suddenly realized that everything was just an illusion, only to see Liam tiptoeing over and running past. Then he looked around at the door, as if nothing had happened. He completely ignored the couple. And when no alien companion arrived as expected, he immediately picked up the slippers to make contact. And he also cursed loudly at the female drought demon. He must have thought she spoiled his plan again. The sudden outburst of anger really startled the female drought demon. She instinctively hid behind the male drought demon. However, the divine spirit still needs to advise Liam to stay calm. After all, the opponent is a second-stage male drought demon. He is really powerful, not to be underestimated. Countless black mists swarmed in. There was simply no room for escape. However, the fearless and ignorant Liam had no intention of running in the first place. But the divine spirit won't just stand by and do nothing. Not to mention the exorcist police, who arrive in the nick of time. But their weapons are somewhat illusory. That weapon not only cannot cause effective damage to the male drought demon, they were instead beaten back by the opponent's black water. Even the high-intensity composite shield was almost completely corroded. These exorcist police are obviously no match for the male drought demon. The hope of everyone once again falls on Liam. But his current condition does not look like that of a capable leader at all. He seems completely lost and dispirited. It turns out his slipper was accidentally killed in the fight. This led to the only tool that could contact headquarters being completely damaged. Now Liam has completely lost hope. But soon he picked himself up again, turning all his sorrow and anger into strength. Because all of this was caused by those two guys. Seeing the host finally about to start the fight, Divine Spirit also generously fully enhances the opponent's power. A powerful great strength Vajra fist suddenly struck out in response. Male Drow Demon hasn't reacted yet. What's going on? He was directly hammered and flew 10 meters away. Before he could catch his breath, another kick came from an elephant's leg. Now male Drow Demon is completely lost and disoriented after being beaten. Until the Xidagarba exorcism talisman imbued with the Fear Sun's energy appeared in front of him. The male Drow Demon was so scared that he quickly knelt down and begged for mercy. Unfortunately, it was already too late. In the blazing golden light, the male Drow Demon completely vanished without a trace. The female Drow Demon, who witnessed everything, no longer dared to play tricks. She trembled and hid in the corner. Willie in the control room was stunned by the sight of Liam, and did not even have the courage to make eye contact with him. He realized that he had underestimated Liam's strength. Now he is even more determined to win over Liam. So the next morning, he approached the Dean again. This time, he was determined to take Liam away no matter what. But the Dean looked hesitant. After all, protecting patients is the responsibility of the Dean. Moreover, such a serious incident happened last night. Presumably, everyone is extremely scared. But the truth is, they don't actually know what fear is. Each and every one of them is still cheering happily about moving to the new ward. As for their uniform hairstyles, they were all effects of being corroded by the black water of the male Drow Demon. This scene was truly beyond the Dean's expectations. But this cannot be a reason for him to give up on patients at will. Willie also understands that this guy is not easy to deal with. So he cried and complained, venting all his grievances. The Dean was indeed ugly crying because of his crying face. Just as he was about to speak, Officer Kaka barged in. And he also brought some urgent information. It turned out that there was going to be trouble again in the southern part of the city. Most likely, a family of 7 is going to die tonight. It's because of the detection this time. It's that deadly little girl. Again. This means Liam has to go on this trip. But when Chief really starts to invite him to join, he finally understood what the Dean meant by tricky in the first place. Because this kid is just too difficult to control. The sun was almost setting, and I still couldn't catch him. Obviously, it's impossible to communicate well with him. If soft methods don't work, then we'll have to resort to using force. At Willie's command, everyone rushed forward in unison. Anyway, we need to first get him to the south side of the city before we can figure out the rest. So Liam was forcibly carried to the haunt of the vengeful spirit, all tied up. However, it's unrealistic to expect Liam to cooperate with the mission in this state. But what about Chief? Willie immediately came up with an idea. Since Liam is immersed in the scenario with aliens, why not just cooperate with him? You are 001, right? I am your alien companion, 007. Willie's expression is as firm as if he is joining the party. Liam stopped shouting immediately when he saw the change in his expression. After all, this was the first time he had received a response. Of course, he is not foolish. Not just anyone can earn his trust with a few words. Unless he can match this passphrase, bouncing boss bouncing. Done. Willie knows he has a lot of self-created passphrase. And no one knows the correct answer yet. Unfortunately, he can only take a big gamble. Ahaha, brave special agent salutes you. Willie is extremely nervous, afraid of making a mistake and causing Liam to make a scene. However, he didn't know if he had guessed correctly. Or perhaps Liam was intentionally playing along with him. He actually managed to get through to Liam on the phone. That's not easy at all. At least there's hope for the mission now. Faced with the task assigned by Willie, 001 expressed firm obedience to the orders. Also at this moment, the detection equipment detected a severe fluctuation of energy. The location was in the corridor, outside the house. Everyone was trying to avoid it at all costs. Only Liam with a big heart not only started playing the music box. He also lay on the ground, imitating the deceased when he was alive. until a dangerous aura swept over. The divine spirit began to constantly warn Liam of the danger. The exorcist police, including Chief, were all shocked and stood still in place. But Liam mistakenly thought that the so-called danger was the Dean coming to take him back. So he resolutely refused to indulge his bad habit. He decisively opened the door. However, there was no Dean in front of him. There was only a lovely little girl. But only the divine spirit knows. This is no ordinary little girl, but one who has been sacrificed by her parents since childhood. Although the malevolent spirit on her back has carried the burden of 17 lives, she is still to be executed. The crazy Liam still doesn't understand to this day what the voices in his head are. He has always believed it was the old man, the head of the hospital, playing tricks on him. After a careful analysis of his own, he came to the conclusion that the voices are caused by the white coat. So the voices and the white coat are comrades' enemies. The voices also say that the girl is an enemy. Therefore, the enemy of the enemy is a friend. Liam, full of confidence, takes the girl's hand and walks towards the room, completely ignoring the fear of the people around who are about to wet themselves. He even wants to take out a treasure from his crotch for the girl to play with. Fortunately, it's not something strange but the music box he just found. The little girl's face was full of disdain. But Liam is enjoying himself in it. He even wants to play hide and seek with her. After all, 001 does have the ability to turn invisible. But what he is really interested in are the nails on the girl. The girl says it's a curse. And she has a total of 5 nails all over her body. Upon hearing this, Liam was immediately enraged and pounded his chest and stamped his feet. Which heartless hospital did this surgery for you? Saying that, he was about to pull out these nails for the girl. But the problem is that these nails are deep into the soul. They are not easy to remove. Even if Liam applied all his strength, the nails still did not budge a bit. In the end, Divine Spirit was still unable to overcome this mental illness. He then used the 5 elements soul sealing and nail expelling technique on him. As each soul nail was removed, the resentment from deep within the girl's heart grew stronger, until the last soul nail of the Celestial Palace position was pulled out. The girl's soul was completely unsealed. She also instantly transformed into vengeful spirit, emitting a piercing wail. The intense fluctuations almost engulfed the entire room. Even the instruments monitoring the Yin energy were completely blown up. Not to mention Liam, who was thrown out of the window by the Yin energy. When Liam was about to fall from tens of meters high and crash into a muddy mess, a red light shot out of the window instantly. Closely following it, a timely grab caught Liam's hand. When Liam was rescued back into the room, everyone was stunned as the deadly little girl, who had regained consciousness, grabbed his hand. Because the scene was truly eerie. The vengeful spirit, who used to harm others, unexpectedly saved a human. This was something they had never encountered in all their years of work. But they seemed to have rejoiced too soon. A streak of blood suddenly slashed through the darkness. And its target was Liam in front of Willie, but fortunately it did not intend to take Liam's life. It only cut his finger. It turns out that deadly little girl was moved by Liam's kindness. My fingers are going to be useless. Want to stay with others without affecting their luck. Then the only way is to form a contract with the other party. Just that Liam is really ignorant. He usually looks tough as nails. This time, he started screaming just because he broke a finger. In the end, the girl reached out and held Liam's hand. And she used the gift he had just given as an intermediary. Enter into a contract at your disposal. The girl's forehead suddenly burst out with countless Yin energy, which was replaced by a bright white light shining all over her body. And then she was reborn from the cocoon in a burst of green light. After completing the transformation, she looked like a girl next door, without a trace of the vengeful spirit's aura. But this kid seems to be a bit ungrateful. He has successfully formed an alliance with such a powerful ghostly official, but doesn't seem happy about it. A tiny wound, and he's making a fuss. So Divine Spirit had to heal the wound and shut his mouth first. The little girl turned to look at the crowd of exorcist police gathered together. Willie nervously kept swallowing spit. But unexpectedly, the girl just bent down slightly and bowed. Then a L flashed twice between her eyebrows. Immediately, it turned into a black gas and entered Liam's body. Everyone was startled. Fortunately, nothing unusual happened afterward. Moreover, deadly little girl was not only successfully subdued. She also seemed quite grateful to us. Does this count as exceeding the mission? Why wouldn't it count? With the rising sun outside the window, everyone's excitement was beyond words. Willie is even more grateful for having Liam as a treasure he found. After the revival of spectral energy, the strength of ghosts can roughly be divided into 9 stages. The Exorcism Police Department has always only been able to handle wandering spirits of the first stage. Cases involving vengeful spirits and above usually have to be reported to the Soul Guardians Bureau, the approval process of which is not only long and cumbersome, but also subject to certain individuals' whims. But now, the Exorcism Police Department can be said to have the upper hand. In the office, Willie sat smugly with one leg crossed over the other. Facing the Soul Guardians Bureau on the phone, he no longer displayed his usual meekness. Especially after he canceled the support request. He hung up the phone without any courtesy. The feeling of not needing to ask for help is really satisfying. And all of this is thanks to having Liam, this great Buddha. Regardless of whether he really has mental issues. But his strength is undeniably real. The vast office allowed Liam to sleep until noon. It was not until the scent of food woke up his hungry stomach. There was a lunch box on the coffee table. On the box was a piece of paper left by 007. 007 had already gone to carry out the mission issued by Headquarters. Headquarters specially praised 001 in just a few lines, which immediately made Liam's heart surge with excitement. Receiving recognition from Headquarters is the highest honor for this warrior. Of course, he also didn't forget to enjoy the braised pork rice left by 007. If he doesn't eat it soon, it will get cold. There were only a few people in the Exorcist Police Bureau. Only a few staff were on duty. And after spending time together last night, Liam completely let go of his guard against these guys in uniforms. At this moment, he is licking his lips, asking the policewoman for the cola on the desk. The policewoman was startled by this unknown patient, but quickly gestured that he could take the cola. These weaklings are more accommodating than the people in the hospital. But Liam is not someone who can be easily taken advantage of either, he said, as he forcefully stuffed one of his own artworks into the other person's hand. This talisman can absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. It can protect you and your descendants for 3 generations. But the question is, whose family's amulet features a little fish blowing bubbles? The policewoman looked skeptical. But her colleagues around her all confirmed that it was true. Don't be deceived by his mental illness, he is quite capable. Not long after, a long line formed outside the chief's office. Willie, who passed by, was a little confused. Is there something going on for so many people to be looking for me? But when he got closer and took a look, he realized. These kids are all heading towards Liam. Liam's front is already piled with all kinds of snacks. People continue to carry snacks inside. Those who didn't have a chance to grab snacks from the store were complaining incessantly. And all these absurd behaviors were just to acquire a painting from Liam. Willie understood that he couldn't let these people continue to fool around. He cleared his throat to bring everyone's attention back. Then he scolded them all one by one, and he kicked them out of his chief's office. These people really disappointed him. Such an important matter, and he wasn't even informed. Chief's actions have made him question whether he is still being valued. As he spoke, he took out a piece of white paper and asked Liam to help him draw a talisman as well. Liam's gaze fell on his empty hands, and he did not say anything. Willie immediately understood upon seeing the table full of snacks. But he has money. Liam is not stupid. Knowing that these red notes can buy a lot of delicious snacks at the corner store, he immediately started painting on the paper, as if it were true. A painting of a turtle swimming gracefully soon emerges. The delicate brushstrokes reveal a sense of wisdom. Satisfied heart, Willie then began discussing business. It turned out that a series of murders occurred in Dongdaekyo. Headquarters specially assigned Liam to accompany and go there together. In the late night, Dongdaekyo was still brightly lit. However, apart from a police car, no one else could be seen. A police officer, accompanied by a mental patient, arrived on the bridge. Just last night, another drunkard died here. When discovered, the body was incomplete. This is already the 36th injury incident this month. But now the Bureau doesn't even know if the murderer is a human or a ghost. After explaining the situation, Willie once again placed hope on Liam. However, Liam had just crossed the security line and was tripped by something. This scared the surrounding police officers immediately. Did something dirty appear? Of course not. Only Chief, who knows Liam well, knows. He really just fell down like a regular fall. And it seems that he also bumped his nose. Although Liam is trying hard to control himself from crying. But tears still uncooperatively flowed down. Finally, fortunately, he sat on the ground and started wailing and crying loudly. Just when everyone's attention was drawn to Liam crying loudly. The danger of being attracted by the smell of blood also followed closely, compared to the human beings who realized it later. Instead, it was the girl who had been subdued earlier who first noticed something unusual. A wisp of black air drilled out of Liam's body, gradually condensed in the air into the appearance of deadly little girl. But this frightened the people behind. After all, they have experienced the methods of this vengeful spirit. But the problem is there are difficulties coming from both the front and the back. Where can they escape to? The huge creature is getting closer and closer. Its figure gradually appeared in the sight of everyone. It is a tiger surrounded by yin energy. Its body is comparable to that of an elephant. Its eyes exude a fierce light, and its whole body emits a murderous aura. At least it's a mid-level vengeful spirit, and it can be basically confirmed. Deadly little girl is not its opponent. But the blood oath has been sealed. For her master, she must face the challenges head-on. The girl strikes first to catch the tiger. A wisp of yin energy tightly wraps around the neck of the 1,000-year-old tiger. The stark difference in power makes it quite difficult for the girl to maintain control. Until the tiger suddenly shakes its large head. The little girl was instantly thrown into the sky and disappeared without a trace. Everyone now finally sees the situation clearly. At the same time, there is a rough guess about the origin of this tiger. It turns out it is the tiger that was abused 10 years ago. After escaping from the zoo, it was shot dead on this bridge. So there is no doubt that the bizarre murders these days were all done by it. But what's the use of knowing everything? The tiger had to be shot, and they did. Suddenly thick smoke billowed and gunpowder scattered. But strangely, it seems that they did not suffer any harm. Looking up, that's when they noticed. The giant tiger claw was hovering just outside a layer of golden light. And what made up that layer of golden light were various kinds of birds, stars, and twisted, meandering lines. Willie immediately recognized the source of these patterns. He quickly called on everyone to take out talismans. I can't believe it's just a crazy person's sketch. It actually contains the universe. Everyone suddenly seemed to have grasped a lifeline. They raised their talismans, summoning the courage to confront the tiger. Tiger was also a bit bewildered. This was a sight it had never encountered before. The golden light had no killing power on him, but it also prevented him from moving forward even a little bit. The confident officer, who now had a taste of success, felt even more assured. As the morale of the crowd increased, even Tiger seemed to show signs of retreating. However, just as the two sides were deadlocked, an arm unexpectedly reached out from the crowd's gap. Then it aimed directly at the tiger's head. With a bang, a blow stunned Tiger's head. This completely shocked the policemen around, too. Willie was also almost scared peeless by this little guy. Even if we have the golden light protection, we can't mess around like this. Sure enough, Tiger was completely enraged. A fierce roar resounded through the bridge, instantly scattering everyone in all directions. Although the spells were powerful, they were just too weak. They couldn't even hold on for long in terms of physical strength alone. What's even worse is that the golden light shield has shown signs of cracking. The feeling of panic finally spurred their legs to run away. Just neglected Liam fell out of the main group because of this. Millennium Tiger immediately targeted the isolated Liam. Without the barrier of golden light, humans were as good as offering themselves to the tiger. At the critical moment, Deadly Little Girl makes a comeback again. A strand of familiar black energy once again clenches Tiger's left hand. "You are not allowed to eat my master," the little girl shouted arrogantly. Then she used all her strength as if she were breastfeeding, desperately pulling Tiger. This time, she successfully flipped him over. But awkwardly, the direction she was thrown seemed to be the same as everyone else's escape direction. If you want to eat, then go eat them. It turns out that the little girl who is eager to protect her master did it deliberately. The police officers, who were powerless, could only watch helplessly as the huge tiger smashed towards them. The impact on Tiger was not light either. Momentarily, they were too stunned to react. However, this gave Liam a chance to act recklessly. It was the first time he had seen such a big kitty, which piqued his interest. He even thoughtlessly plucked a strand of fur from the huge cat. Goodness, one of its legs was thicker than his waist. This made Tiger quite upset. Instantly, it pounced out with a swipe of its paw. Liam, sensing the danger, subconsciously jumped aside. But this also ignited his fighting spirit. The host wants to fight, and the system strongly supports it. A meteor big tooth fist was thrown with tremendous force. The 1,000-year tiger was instantly knocked back like a cannonball. Now he was really knocked dizzy, and couldn't stand up in a short time. However, Liam's attacks were far from over. His hands took turns to attack. The cries of the tiger on the bridge were pitiful and full of sorrow. Everyone watched in shock. It wasn't until Tiger made a move. Liam really didn't give it a chance to fight back. In no time, the tiger, which had roamed the earth for thousands of years, lay on the ground like a defeated dog. The sharp claws that could pierce through 10-centimeter steel plates now protected its head. Another one raised a white flag in surrender. Liam excitedly jumped onto the tiger's head. At this moment, he was cheering for successfully taming the pet. He even said that he would ask the girl to join him for a walk around the block. The tiger also looked helpless, carrying Liam and flying into the distance unsteadily. It was not until it recovered slightly that its movements became agile. And the crowd still standing on the bridge, feeling the cold wind blowing by, watched as they disappeared from their sight. This is really putting Chi's life in danger. If he loses this great Buddha statue, he won't be able to explain to the dean. The cops on the ground are in a mess. Meanwhile, Liam in the sky is having a blast, wandering around with random commands every now and then. The key is that Tiger still dares not to disobey. After a while, a blue light beam shot straight ahead. It turned out to be Liam, who was tired of playing, returning here. Subconsciously, he still regarded this place as home. He thought his mission had ended here. Tiger was about to sneak away. He was caught red-handed by Liam, who had come to his senses. After all, even a steed should not be parked randomly. It should be tied up with a rope properly. So Liam gestured in a professional manner. He pretended to lead Tiger downstairs with a rope. Tiger looked bewildered but dared not act out. He could only go along with the man's act. Tying an imaginary big cat, hanging an imaginary bell in the air, Liam's attention to detail was indeed impeccable. However, it didn't materialize in reality. In the end, he earnestly warned Tiger that this place would be his home from now on. As long as Star Warrior 001 is here, no one dares to bully you. And then, he contentedly prepared to return to the courtyard to sleep. A proud smile involuntarily crept onto his lips. Tiger could finally breathe a sigh of relief. After all, as long as this Jinx is not around, he can do whatever he wants. But when it seized the opportunity to just about to take off, it was fiercely pulled back by an unknown force. It was as if it was really tied up by a rope. Tiger, lying on the ground, was completely bewildered. It never expected that there was also a wisp of divine spirit parasitized in Liam's body. Everything was naturally manipulated by it. According to the host's intention, it had firmly tied a soul-locking rope around Tiger. Now, it couldn't go anywhere for real. The next morning, Liam woke up from a sudden scream. The sudden appearance of Liam really startled the nurse. "Are you supposed to be at the police station? Why did you come back quietly? And what's with the injury on your hand?" The kind-hearted nurse couldn't help but feel a pang of sorrow. The sudden concern warmed Liam's heart. With tears in his eyes, he was about to hug the nurse. The director, who heard the news, was instantly annoyed. He immediately notified the police station and gave them a good scolding. How absurd. A mental patient could actually disappear under the nose of your police station. Willie, who knew he was in the wrong, didn't dare to argue. He could only let Director Lee vent his scolding. Downstairs, Liam, who returned to the comfortable area, was extremely happy. He simply turned a blind eye to the voice in his head. How Divine Spirit wishes to cure this guy's mental illness. However, this treatment can only be completed with the cooperation of the host. But how can Liam, in his current state, be able to cooperate to complete the mission? As a result, the 43rd attempt at treatment ended in the expected failure. At the same time, a black private car pulled up at the hospital entrance. The person who got off the car was Officer Yo-Yo, who had been driven away by Liam last time, coming to apologize specifically to Liam. The woman who took off her sunglasses was also recognized by Liam at a glance. "Meeting again. I've been to where you work but didn't see you there." Because Yo-Yo happened to be going to the hospital at that time. Just as Liam said, she did have breast cancer. And it's already in the advanced stage. Liam, who doesn't know what this means, is still complacent. "I'm good at judging people." Sad Yo-Yo apologized for what happened before while lowering her head. But Liam suddenly stood up at this moment. "It's okay, what's past is past. Let's be good friends in the future." He reached out his hand towards Yo-Yo with a beautiful smile on his face. Yo-Yo couldn't hold back anymore. Because she didn't have a future. The doctor had clearly informed her that she didn't have much time left. But she really didn't want to die. Because there were still many things she hadn't completed yet. Clearly, she loved working at the police station so much. "I wanted to protect everyone in this world where evil creatures roam. But in reality, I have always been the one being protected." Yo-Yo couldn't help but shed tears in frustration. But Liam was clueless and just bewildered by the sudden emotional breakdown of the girl. It's inexplicable. If you don't want to die, then just don't die. Such trivial matters are nothing in front of me. 001. Liam began to shake the water in his hand with a serious look, continuously muttering words. Of course, the actual work is definitely done by the Divine Spirit. Liam is just bluffing. All the chaotic work is done by the Divine Spirit. A miraculous bottle of water appears out of nowhere. Just drink it, and I guarantee your health. Yo-Yo picked up the water bottle with some hesitation. As she examined it, she did see a hint of red, but it quickly disappeared. It's probably just regular water at worst, right? Without much thought, Yo-Yo drank it, thinking she was just playing along with Liam's game. However, in the moment she drank it, her throat suddenly felt like it was being clamped down by something. The man is a mental patient, yet there are still people specifically looking for him for medical treatment. It's just because this is an era of spectral energy revival. Men are crazy all day long. He can catch the deadly little girl alive. He can also capture a 1,000-year-old tiger, and even just by a glance, can determine that there are 2 balls hidden in others' clothes. Now, with Yo-Yo's return, the fact turned out just as he expected. Due to professional reasons, Yo-Yo has long been in contact with spectral energy. It has led to her